Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
And today we're going to be going over January 2024 numbers and also to give you a synopsis of what to expect for today's market update. Obviously, we're going to go over what happened in the month of January. Then we're going to go over all new construction incentives plus our bets.
All right.
So it's going to be a long one. So hope you strap in. And please comment, guys. Ask us questions. We're very passionate. We love to answer any questions you may have, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So how you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty good. Gosh darn do it good, Ange, if I could get it out of my mouth. But yeah, no, I'm doing great. How about you?
Been busy.
Yeah?
Yep. February is panning out to be a good month for me for real estate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a crazy year in real estate in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But the numbers will only tell, right?
The numbers tell
and
it all.
I actually watched your market recently.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good information to have. I like how you have it laid out. I never really watched it before. So if you ever want to know the actual week to week numbers, Rob lays it out on his channel, right?
Yeah. Almost every week. Lately, like the last one I combined, I went through all the weeks, you know.
I like that. Yeah, because that one you did from comparing from January, the beginning of January to the beginning of February.
Exactly.
Right.
So it gives you a full synopsis kind of before you even see these numbers coming out.
Right.
So you kind of have an idea of what's happening. And I was pretty right on, except I think on my prognostication, I think I said that, well, something that I'll tell us later. That
well, it gives you a more pulse on the market, right?
Yeah.
By looking at the numbers daily.
Yeah. And there's one thing, and I do mention it, that, hey, this is hard to get right now, especially with lower volume. And that's the one that I didn't quite hit. But
okay.
We'll see.
Well, let's get started. I do want to mention one thing that I saw is that there were 29,069 sale of homes, which include single family homes, condos, and townhomes for 2023. In 2022, that number was 35,584. But in 2021, we had sold over 50,010 single family homes, condos, and townhomes in all of Southern Nevada. So as you can see, 2021 from 2022, when interest rates were going down or up, and then of course last year 2023
volume is down.
Okay. And the only reason why volume is down, in my opinion, is because of the lack of inventory.
Yeah. Inventory, interest rates, they kind of combine together, make a little force field there, but definitely the inventory.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if the interest rates were better, then we would have more sales.
Yeah, but without the inventory, and maybe you'd have more people go ahead and put their property on market with better interest rates. So, I mean, for sure you would.
All right. So let's just dive into these awesome numbers. We're going to add to our screen. So last month, the sales were down, right? We only had 1,479 single family homes that sold for the month of January, which is down 2.6% from the previous month, but up 11.6% from year to year.
Yeah.
So that means that we had more closings in January in 2024 than we did January 2023.
Which, it makes sense. Just I remember entering into that year was different than entering into this year. It was more optimistic.
January numbers in reality are a sign of what happened in December, because most homes close within 30 days. So December for me was a slow month. Not a lot of people are buying during the holiday season. There wasn't much activity going on. So that's why we see this January numbers.
Yeah, but in retrospect to the year before, how it's more than what you did see was interest rates. They went really low by the bond market, so I think people were taking advantage of that. And unseasonally, there wasn't enough inventory to take care of that for a little while.
Right,
was it?
Right.
It was getting chewed up, which was astonishing. We talked about it on our last
market update.
Market update. So now we're seeing a reflection of that, like you're saying.
A reflection of that 30 days later.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then we're going to talk about the median price. And the shocking was that we were at the end of December 2023, the median price was 449,900, I think. And because we dropped only like $100. And now for the month of January, we dropped a little over 4,000 to $445,000, right? Which is down 1.1% from the prior month and still up 4.7% from the prior year.
Yeah. That was the one I got wrong on my prognostication, because I thought that we would still see, with as much activity that I saw that was unexpected, I thought we would see, but nope. It looked like sellers were willing to deal a little more.
Well, yeah, we had both assumed that the median price was going to remain relatively flat for January. But it did take a dip. Now, I always like to go and look from year over year, right? So from January 2023 to January 2024, we had a $20,000 median price increase on single family homes.
Yeah.
So for 2023, with that said, the median price was at 425. January of 2022, the median price was 435, and January 2021, the median price was 345. So the point is that the peak of the market was May of 2022, right, at 482,000. And that January of 2022, the median price was 435. So we're at 445. So we're 10,000 above what happened in that big crazy market, right?
Yeah. And yeah, we're year over year, you're up. So speaking of big crazy, there's a lot of big crazy people out there saying things that just are not happening, just very untrue. They're still saying it on my page. I'm sure they say it on yours.
Well, okay, here's
greedy,
my
hungry
thought.
Real estate agents.
Yes, my thought is this. Like I said, the peak of the market was May of 2022 at 482,000. When December 2022 hit, we landed at 425,000. So we did see a kind of crash. We did go down.
There was a correction.
There's a correction, right? And then 2023 came, we started the median price at 425. We ended at 449,900 with a 6% increase year over year in median price.
Yeah.
My thought is, since we're now at 445, the trend is going to be the same for 2023, with the price of the median price increasing, especially during this spring selling season. And we're going to continue with that trend as we did with 2023.
Yeah, I tend to believe that's absolutely correct. And the only caveat would be if we suddenly saw more inventory. I do have some statement to make on that, but it's still pretty minor. Interest rates, if those change, that's going to throw a whole new thing into there. So if the Fed, because they're pretty much saying they're going to do it. They started out with, we're going to do 6 of them. Now they're down to saying we're just going to do 3 of them this year, which I think, as you just said, as I wanted, it's not something that I was predicting necessarily. I was actually saying, this is what I think is responsible.
Right.
We went through a lot of suffering. So let's get it right.
Right. And, my point was, we already saw the peak, and I think we saw the low, and I don't think it's going to go lower than 425. I think from here on out, we're just going to keep on going up. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But based off of these numbers, that's where I feel that we're going to be.
And that's why I was laying out because it just, to me, there's a foundation to that you're jumping off there.
Right.
Big time.
Exactly. I mean, we base it off of the numbers and analyzing those numbers, right? Mm-hmm. We don't base it off of what we feel and hoping and praying that, ideally, yes, we want a more balanced market. Yes, we want the prices lower. But in reality,
yeah, well, Vegas is just the place. I mean,
with all the rain we've been having, there's no water shortage.
No, the water shortage is definitely sort of going by the wayside. I hope it continues. I hope we get a ton more rain. There's a lot of reasons to not be too worried about the water shortage in Las Vegas. I won't get into those right now, but I do every now and then on my channel speak about that. I just think that Vegas, I mean, look, what do we have over the weekend?
The Super Bowl.
I mean, I just still can't believe it.
Who are you rooting for?
I was rooting for the 49ers because I always like an underdog,
Right.
but I knew they wouldn't win.
Well, I didn't watch the game. I just kind of kept tabs on the score. I'm not a football person, but I like to know who'd won. And
Everybody
at
does.
halftime, I saw that the 49ers were up and the Chiefs were down like 10-3 or something like that. And then they had the overtime. Of course, I did not watch it one bit. I'm just not a sports person.
Yeah. Well, I won't get into it. Football is not my favorite sport anymore anyway, but
Right.
I enjoyed the halftime show. I don't know if everybody liked that, but I thought that was entertaining. And so that's what I was there for.
Yeah. So then that brings us to the median price in condos and townhomes. And don't forget, folks, ask away, ask questions. Tell us your thoughts of what you feel is going on with the market. So the median price for condos increased by 5,000. It went from 270,000 in December to 275,000 in January, which is up 1.9% and up 7.8% from the prior year.
This is a little bit more of a reflection of what I thought overall would happen.
Right. Well, because they saw a decrease and then they saw it come back because they saw the decrease in December by 5,000 and then it just came back in January.
Yeah, and it makes sense. We always talk about why we talk about this is because it does give us a little bit of a thermometer of what's out there. And when you're squeezing people down with interest rates, they're going to look in lower price ranges that make sense to them.
Yeah. So I did another analogy. From January 2023, the median price was $255, whereas in January 2024, that's $275. So that puts us at what, a $20,000 median price increase, just like it did for single family homes. In January 2022, the median price was $243, and then in January of 2021, it was $193. So
remember, we used to get bashed on for back in 21.
Well,
for
the median price of single family, when I started out in real estate in 2016, the median price for single family homes was like $250, $275, which is kind of interesting to see that. That's the median price for condos and townhomes.
Yeah.
But as we've been saying in our previous market updates, is that the luxury market is remaining strong.
Yeah.
And there's very, very limited inventory in the luxury market. So the houses in there are getting gobbled up pretty fast. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, I mean, if anything good comes on, it is getting attention.
And, luxury market is anywhere from $1 million and up. And where I'm seeing where the bulk of the purchases are is in that $1 million range, like 1.5, 6, 7. And there's, believe it or not, it's hard to find anything $2 million and under.
Yeah.
That's a decent home, especially in Summerlin.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Another thermometer, another place we can check the temperature big time, I think, is the luxury market. I just did a video on, and I know you've done them over there too. I did a video in Summerlin South and in one of our favorite spots that's being developed over there.
Ascension.
Yeah. And I was there and it's like sold.
I did that video last week.
Did you? Oh, I didn't even realize.
Can you believe Toll Brothers they had like one community had 15 sold, another 11 sold, and they're not even advertising, folks.
They haven't even opened the model homes.
No.
They're selling them without even seeing them.
And these are starting at the 1.5 million range.
1.5. That's a starting price. I can guarantee. Like there's load
some
it up.
Depending on which community you buy, either the which ones are the Toll Brothers? The High Ridge, High Rock, or Ridgeline, High Rock, and Crestline. Crestline.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Crestline is the 2-story homes. They've sold a handful, like 11. Then you have Ridgeline, which are single-story homes, and they sold about 15. Then you have High Rock, and guess what the lot premiums are, folks? $1 million.
Wow.
Because they're elevated.
They're High Rock.
High Rock. And those are the higher end single story, bigger single stories. And they're selling them. They've only sold 3, but they haven't really been focusing so much on High Rock.
Yeah.
But the starting price point for a lot of the lot premiums in the Toll Brothers community is from $400,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
That's just for a lot.
And some of those lots, the view.
I didn't believe that there was going to be views, but I drove into it. I'm like, oh,
just showed that on mine. I was like,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I didn't think there was going to be a lot to talk about that community.
I mean, you're right in a way, because there's not a lot. They're not, when those are gone, that's it.
Yes. And they only have like 70 some lots per collection.
And how many of those get that view?
Not a
many.
lot. Right.
Not many.
And Pulte's been pre-selling for a while now, but they've been advertising and pre-selling. And guess what? They haven't sold as much as Toll Brothers, which is kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's partially, I don't know if this, when you go there, it's not public access to go into their part of it.
No, it's all spread out. Everyone's public access.
Well, none on those single story ones. It says you're not supposed to. I don't know if that matters.
Oh, I went through it because I went to Incline. I saw where the clubhouse is going to be. I went to all of it because I initially thought, and I said this on my video, I thought Pulte was going to be on one side and Toll Brothers on the other, but the 6 communities are intermixed.
Yep.
Which
I still went in there.
Yeah.
But it says no public access.
Oh, I went in there
on the
too.
Pulte side.
Yeah.
The single story Pulte side.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so with that said, the luxury market, where are we? Right here. There were 91 homes that sold in January over $1 million compared to December's 92. So they only had a 1 home decrease. However, the median price did increase. It went to $1.5 million, which is the highest I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then in December, that number was 1.4525. So that was a 47,500 increase in median price for the luxury market. And what that's telling me is the multiple offers.
Yeah, I think so. That definitely, like I said, something good comes on and everybody's, all over it. They're just waiting on bated heels for these properties.
Yeah. And
the other part of it is that a lot of these properties are in that range. It's hard to find anything under 2 million. So some of these are definitely over 2 million. And if they're awesome, they go.
Yeah, because I had a client this weekend, we were looking 2 million and under, but of course it also depends on the size and everything. But I looked in the Ridges, I looked in Red Rock Country Club, and there wasn't really anything in there.
I just did, I didn't do the video for it yet, but I looked at Summerlin and what you can buy, let's just say 4-bedroom, 3, all the things, the single story, 4-bedroom, 3-car garage.
Right.
Pool. And in Summerlin, all of Summerlin, there was like 2.
Wow.
It was like 2.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And then you got Mesa Ridge. Now, you can't even find anything like they're priced like 3 million now.
Mm-hmm.
When Mesa Ridge first opened, and I remember you doing videos on it, they started out in the 800-900 range, folks.
Yeah.
And look where they're at now.
Yeah, wow. But it just goes to show the people who want to come here, they have some money, they're waiting in line to get here.
Right.
It's that's a big thermometer. That's a big temperature check on what's happening to me.
All right. So now we're going to talk about the number of new listings.
Oh, hey, we got some.
Oh, we got some comments. Wow, Damien. All right. We'll get to the comments.
Rusty Shackelford.
Yeah, hey. I love Rusty. We'll get to the comments as soon as we're done going over the numbers real quick. That I want to go through it. So this was a shocking number. And I think maybe the sellers are starting to get the message because we had 2,432 new listings in the month of January compared to it's like 62% up from December. But it was down 1.8% from the prior year.
Yeah, it really seemed like in December they fell asleep. November, December, they said we're not doing anything.
Right.
Most people, and so a lot of people started getting going in January. I think that trend's going to continue as we go. We'll see it in February.
Yes.
I've already looked at the numbers for last week, and yes, indeed, there is an uptick.
I think we're going to have a strong February. I'm going to have 5 closings this month.
Wow.
For February,
yeah,
I normally only have 1.
Yeah,
that's how busy.
I have 2.
Yeah, that's still good.
Yeah, doing good.
So what that means, there's only 3,551 homes available on the market, which is down 5.7% from the month before, and also down 34.8% from the prior year, right?
Mm.
With that said, I did an analysis and
You see, this is what's important.
right.
Yeah.
So in 2023 of January, we had a total of 5,450 single family homes listed without offer. January of 2024, we have 3,551.
Yeah. Inventory is always the story.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough of it.
Yeah, I think what happened for 2022 is that the sellers were like panicked. So we got a lot of listings. That's why we got a lot of listings. And then when 2023 happened, you saw it decline. We even got to 1.8 months of inventory during the springtime.
But
Remember how low?
Yeah. It was like 1.6, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And so if the sellers do not come out and play, you're going to foresee that same situation happen for this year. And what does that mean? That means median price goes back, keep on going up.
Yeah, it's just supply and demand, simple supply and demand. Very, very simple on that. Now, I am seeing a little bit more inventory that's not getting chunked up. It's 1 week, so I will keep updating on that. But
now there are a lot of homes, and we're going to go over that, on homes that are staying on the market longer than 30 days.
Yeah.
And those are the homes we need to talk about.
This is important. It's a great point, because you have sellers in two boats right now. You have the sellers that want to sell and are ready to give you a deal. So if you're a buyer right now, you should be actively finding those sellers. And then you have the sellers that are like, you know what? Spring's coming. I will hold out. I will not change my price. I will just sit here and wait. And that's the two different ones. And so I'm sure that's what we're going to kind of reflect on here.
Yeah, exactly. So that brings us to the months of inventory. Currently, we have 2.4 months of inventory on the market, which is 3.2% decrease from the prior month and 41.6% decrease from year over year.
Wow.
So I wrote this down too. We had 4.1 months of inventory in January of 23.
Yeah. And what's the typical market that gives you a buyer's market? When you have how much on market?
Well, technically they say over 6 months of inventory, it's a buyer's market. But with that said, just because it's technically a seller's market doesn't mean you as a buyer can't get a good deal on some of these homes, because the months that they're on the market.
That's exactly what I was alluding to.
52.5% of the closings was on the market 30 days or less for January. And the month before it was 57.6. And the year before, January 2023, it was only 38.5%.
Yeah.
So with that said, as Rob was alluding to, is that there are some gold mines out there for you as a buyer and your agent to make an offer. I just made an offer on a house that was listed for $539, but on the market for like 88 days. We offered $525 with $12,000 in closing costs. Doesn't mean you can't get a good deal on those, and depending on how stubborn the seller is going to be. But if it's been on the market for 88 days and there was nothing really wrong with the house, it was still nice. So, you just have to have a skilled real estate agent on your side to negotiate those deals.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking for my clients. I just got in Siena, got somebody in there for well below list with quite a bit of closing costs as well. And they had just come down like $40,000 previous to that.
Well,
it was a rarity. It's one that's in a trust that they won't really have the same, okay, but you find that and you sniff it out and you go for it and you snatch that thing up.
Exactly. Now, another thing too is agents still today, I'm looking at listings for my clients and I see the shoddiest photos there. Seller, why are you having your agent use their cell phone to take pictures? Doesn't make sense. You need professional photos, regardless if it's a seller's market. Photos tell the story of your home, and photos help sell your home 100%. And if you have shitty pictures,
I don't even know what to say.
Click, right? Pass.
Yeah, I just don't even know what to say. Yeah, you got it. Have to have a great presentation, you know. And
my advice is, when you're looking for a real estate agent, make sure that they hire a professional photographer, make sure they do videos on YouTube of your house, drone footage of the community, and all that good stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no excuse for not, you're paying your agent, you're giving them hiring them to do these things, and that's what they're getting paid for. They need to go out and spend a little bit of money on marketing, and that's how it's done. And if they're not, that means that they have no, they just have no confidence that they're going to sell your home.
Right.
I mean, so I just don't know what to say when I see those pictures anymore. It's so
I still
far.
see it.
It's so far. I've been saying this since early on in my career. Like, why would you do this?
When we had our Robin Ann show, we used to have the picture of the week.
Yeah,
that was kind of fun to do.
And I've seen some lately. I have.
Yeah, I see some taken through the screen from the window of the backyard,
like
or they're taking it from their car. Like, come on,
they even have access to the house. Sorry, forgot the key, but I took some pictures.
Right. Anyway, that's it for the numbers.
Yeah. Oh wow, we whipped through those.
Yeah.
I guess
see what
it's pretty simple.
Rusty says. You want to read Rusty's?
Yeah, Rusty. Hey, Rusty Shackelford. By the way, this is a sad moment, but I did mention my dog before, Shackelford, and he has passed on, unfortunately. So, Rusty, I still love your name. My dog was named Shackelford. Now, let's talk about this. Water shortage should be fine. It would affect like 1/6 of the country. The cost of not fixing the water shortage would be many, many trillions. The cost of fixing it is cheaper, so it'll be fixed. You, Rusty, you're getting into something that I generally believe about human nature, which is when there's a whole boatload of people involved that are getting affected, magically we figure out how to fix it. And Vegas basically does not have the immediate issue is more of a West Coast issue. They talk about it being because we're the desert in Vegas,
right?
But Vegas wants Southern Nevada Water Authority says this is their like mission statement. We want to be like the desert we're in, so we need to look like that. Okay, so they're not really looking for people to put in grass in the communities that have them. It's a matter of time. I'm telling you now.
Right.
It's going
well,
by.
They're starting now. Yeah, a lot of them.
Saw the lakes, right?
Desert
the lakes,
shores.
Desert shores. They're all, and if those communities are smart because they know we have actual lakes, man-made lakes in them. If we want to keep those, we better start doing the things we can do.
Right.
And so they'll be off the map of being like the target, right? So things like that. And then that intake gives the valley, the Southern Nevada, more water for longer than the rest of the West Coast. So technically we will have water here. The problem will be is that other areas won't. And then that's a food shortage issue.
Well, true. And, Las Vegas, Southern Nevada has been the most innovative when it comes to water conservation for the last 30 years. We started the whole watering schedule, during the summertime, water 6 days a week with the exception of Sundays, and then fall and spring 3 days a week, and then winter only 1 day a week. And then also back in the early 2000s, it's been over 20 years, they started that Water Smart program for desert landscaping. And I've taken advantage of it twice in my lifetime, where they give you money to convert your grass into desert landscaping.
Yeah. So remember that when you buy a home here, if you buy a house with grass, don't rip that grass out until you start with the program. You got to get in the program, show them that you have live grass.
Yes.
And then you can get a
rebate.
a rebate.
Yeah. At the time when I did my house back in 2019, front and back had grass, and it was $3 a square foot. I got about $6,400 back. So it paid for most of my landscape project to convert it to desert landscaping.
It's great money, and it's a great deal. So those are the types of things. Not only that, they asked all the West Coast areas that are in drought, and they said, these states, what do you have a plan that we can exercise here to help this water shortage issue? And Nevada was the only one that says we have a plan.
And we've always had the plan, and we get the least amount of water.
Yep. That's just recognizing what we are. And I think from early on, people that came to settle in this town and in this area, they knew knew we need water.
Yeah. Hi, Mike. I'm glad that you're catching up. Hopefully you'll watch through the whole thing. And then Karen, if you want to move to Las Vegas after summer of 2025, what is a good time to buy a house?
So we're just going to generally speak on that, I think, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2025, right? You're talking after 2025. We usually look out about 60 to 90 days and then maybe 6 months, maybe a year sometimes, right?
Right.
We try not to get too far ahead because that's just responsible.
Yeah.
We want to see numbers. We
Yeah.
want to see.
Yeah. We base it off of what's provided to us.
It's how we get it right.
Yeah.
But looking out at 2025 and any year ahead that we can't really see, then you just need to go with the traditional flows, right?
Yep.
So best time is usually going to be late and early in the year like it is right now.
Yeah, exactly. November, December, January.
That would be when I would target personally.
Well,
if I have that, luxury.
I had a listing in Summerlin South that, this is actually a good topic to talk about. I had a listing in Summerlin South, was listed for $595, single story home over in the Ridgebrook Village by the Ridges.
Hot neighborhood.
We had multiple offers sold in 5 days. We should have gone with the cash because what's happening now is the appraisers. So because we had very limited sales in 2023, the appraisers don't have enough to go off of. So the appraiser of my client's house used something that sold in March of 2023. He used something that didn't have the full, even I contested it and long story short. But my point is sellers is you need to price your home strategically because what's going to happen is if you get a financed offer, the appraisers don't have much to go off of. And so with that being said, my home appraised at $585 and I knew it was worth $595 all day long.
Yeah. So in that multiple, did you show them that you had multiple offers and were they near? That's something that definitely I would, sorry, that's something that would come to my mind.
We should have taken the cash multiple offer.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because your client's looking at the bottom line and says, hey, this should go across the finish line.
Right.
But you're definitely pointing out something serious. And I told you that about when I saw you had a Ridgebrook thing. I said, oh my God, everybody's going to want that because there hasn't been anything there for a while.
Right.
There's just so little inventory. It's going to the inventory shortage. So we have this innate problem with inventory shortage. Means that you don't have a lot of comps to show the comparables to show those sales, even though you know the value. Right. The value is supposed to be what the market is, what people are perceiving it is. But of course, appraisers want to see numbers. They want to see that they can go off of something that's a number.
Well, and the thing is to pull something from, because when I contested it, the lender said, I want something 3 months worth. So I did within a mile's worth. Of course, I didn't use the Ridges. I used something in the Gardens.
You got it. Absolutely.
And, when I contested it, showed, hey, these homes are selling for $700,000, same story, single story, blah, blah, blah. They came back under the $585. And I think it was the appraiser who's just being an a-hole.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But my point is sellers is we have to pull the comps because these appraisers are only pulling in the immediate area first. Then they're going to go within a mile outside. So logically, we have to go with the comps that are selling in your neighborhood. Just even though we may feel, and you may feel that it sells is worth higher, we need to price it accordingly.
Yeah. And it's, again, another thing I would say is tough is over there. Like you don't have a lot of new builds also that you can go, oh, hey, that's what they're selling these new builds for right over here. Why would you, so what's your option if you're a buyer? You want to show that appraiser. What's your option? Put yourself in this buyer's shoes. What do you get? What do you got to do? But over there, that's quite a ways out before you start seeing those new builds.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I've had sellers wanting to list or continue staying. And I'm an honest person. And I told them the same thing. Look, you don't have much comps to go off of. You're not going to get what you want. I don't know. I just told them to hold off and see how the market goes because it may not be a smart time for a seller to list because you may be losing money off the table.
Yeah, maybe. It's all about their goal.
Yeah,
and what
exactly.
they have to do.
Exactly.
Because I still think that, so this is the way I would always put it. You have won, sellers.
But their house was so beautiful. There was no reason they needed to sell it.
Okay. But so if you do, and you want to sell, what you're saying, I'm making the argument for what you're saying, which is to be responsible with what you're selling the property for, get it done and get it done without having to worry about what the future holds. Because I know there's a lot of scary things out there, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. You have won. So take your win.
Yeah.
Take your win. Now, of course, we all want to get the next highest price. Everybody does. Give it a shot within reason, especially in Summerlin.
True.
But you have won. Don't try to say that, it needs to be this much more. Now you're getting into territories where you could cause yourself some trouble.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. How is the Summerlin area holding up?
Freaking great. I mean, Summerlin is all good, folks.
All right. Here's the problem with Summerlin, right?
The problem.
There's a problem, and it's called Summerlin West, and there's new construction. The only real new construction that we have is, all right, we got Ascension. We've talked about Ascension, right? Those houses are starting in the $1 million range. Summerlin West, Carmel Cliff is almost sold out. Toll Brothers, Acadia Ridge is almost sold out. So that's the whole.
And those are smaller single stories. What they do have.
Yes, they're 2,200 single story, but 2,800 2-story.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for the Red Point Village, right? Then what's happening is you got the Kestrel Commons area where they're building up. Mm-hmm. They're building 3-story homes.
Not for everybody.
You have the new Quail Cove that just opened up by KB Homes. You're going to have Ravencrest by Toll Brothers, which is a 3 to 4-story townhome community. So in that community, they wanted it to be closer to the urban core. So they wanted those types of homes to be smaller footprints, but up.
Yep.
Okay. Falcon Crest, near completion. Crested Canyon, near completion. Then you have
all the others that have completed.
Yeah, well, all the others have.
Completely.
But then all you really have left now is Osprey Ridge over there. Then you have the Pulte Blacktail, which is a 3-story home community. So for single family 2-story traditional homes or single story homes, there's not a lot.
Single story in particular
for new construction.
Yeah, for new, but that's trickles down to resale. There's
right.
There's so this is what's, when you ask how's Summerlin area holding up, it's holding up strong like
well.
gold.
The point was because everything's selling out, it's doing very well.
Yeah, it's doing great.
And we don't expect
Vortex up there as well, which is another townhome project.
Vertex, they're single family, but they're 3-story by Woodside Homes.
They're 2-story.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes, sorry. Viero is the other one.
Yeah. So I said it wrong. Vortex. I was in a Vortex.
Vertex is by Tri-Point Homes, and they're the townhomes, the 2-story
videos
townhomes.
On those.
Yeah,
if you want to see.
But that's it for Red Point Square. All you have left. Highline's almost selling out. Obsidian has the model homes left. Then you have the Cordillera, which is the Toll Brothers.
It sounds like a lot. You're naming all these areas. It's to people outside that don't know. But when you're looking for a certain product, a certain type of thing, it's like you're narrowed down.
Yeah, it's because my point is that for a nice single family home, large home, 3,000 square foot, there's not much in Summerlin West. The point is there's only townhomes or things that are building up. Okay.
Yes.
Now we're going to have the Grand Park District come pretty soon. There is one community that's going to be opening up called Alton by KB Homes, which will have the reserves and the landings. They should, from what I understand, have 2 collections. So that will open things up. It'll be probably similar to Bristol Valve and the Stonebridge Village. But that's it, guys. There's not a lot. Anyway.
No, that's a real thing. This is another reason why when you're forecasting what's going to happen, you're saying, okay, well, I just don't see enough for if demand picks up at all.
Yeah.
So
hi, Patricia. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
But now that brings us to the new construction builder incentives.
Let's do it.
It's a good segue, right?
Perfect segue.
Sorry, folks. Didn't mean to lose you. That was weird, huh? Okay.
Hey, there was another. No, doesn't matter.
Is there another comment?
Yes.
Oh, hey, girl. Love your channel. Can't wait to move to Vegas. Awesome. All right. Builder incentives. They're not
What are they doing? What are they? They're doing? What are they incentivizing?
They're not as good as they used to be.
No, they are not.
Let me tell you. All right. So, Century Communities, they did have their, a lot of these builders had like a Super Bowl kind of weekend sale or whatever.
Yeah.
But Century Communities is have the Don't Miss Out event, and you win big with a 30-year fixed rate loan on select homes when financing with the Century Communities affiliated lender, Inspire Home Loans. And you get 5.5% interest rate when you use an FHA and VA loan, and 6.375% interest rate on conventional loans. And this offer is good from now until the 14th, Valentine's Day, and you have to close by the end of this month. So after the 14th, I'm sure they'll have a new promotion, which they always do.
Yeah.
But because they had this technically ended on the 11th, but they extended it to the 14th, and they will probably have something else. But they're not as like really.
They're not as eager to give these.
No. And usually, typically, when we see those deep cuts is when I always talk about it.
The end of the year.
End of the year.
End of the year, end of the month. Best if you didn't do it at the end of the year, your next best bet is probably end of the month.
Right. So KB Homes is having their limited time opportunity when you finance and use their lender, and you get 5.875% 30-year fixed interest rate on a move-in ready home that closes by March 31st, or get that same interest rate when you buy a personalized home and must close by September 30th.
Okay.
So now with
You
KB, yes, you got a little time.
Good.
And if you ever want to buy a home in KB Inspirata, expect your name to be in a drawing. They're still doing drawings down there.
They're running out, right? They just don't have.
Well, they have about 80 houses left. KB owns pretty much half of Inspirata, but because of the desirability of the location and the price of the homes, they create a drawing, and every time they release the lots, name gets literally put in a hat and gets drawn.
Yep, I've been a part of them.
Me too. I have a family that wants to buy 3 homes together, and we put all of them in the hat. There was only 8 people in the drawing, and only 1 got pulled.
So let me just get this right. So they want to buy them together, but like 1, 2, 3 together.
Yes.
Oh man, good luck.
Right. And shame on KB for doing it. And I'm going to talk dirt for a minute. I think it should be a first come, first serve basis. If they're a qualified buyer, they were there first. They should be on that list first and get those houses instead of be put in a drawing. Because what happens if you wait 6 turns and your name never gets drawn? That's not fair either.
Yeah.
Because TriPoint would do that. They would you fill out the application, be on their, VIP list.
And then they'll go through the list.
And whoever was first gets called first.
I'm not sure if there's maybe like a psychology to this that they've figured out that this people want this more. They feel more engaged, and they'll stay in the deal longer just because they feel like they were chosen. I don't know if there's something to that, but yeah, it's not helpful, and they're missing out on a three
home
deals.
sell. Cash buyers, folks.
Oh my goodness!
It doesn't. I mean, I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah,
exactly. So Lennar Homes right now, they're offering. They also had an incentive for Super Bowl, but I think that's done. Supposedly, it's 5.5% 30-year fixed interest rate and $6,000 towards closing costs. Now, last month, Lennar Homes had some super duper great deals. They're doing a 2-to-1 buy down, and the first year it was 2.99, second year 3.99, and years 3 through 30 4.99.
Wow.
Yeah, I almost had it this close for a client buying, but because they tried, their quarter was ending. So their quarters are different, and their new quarter just started.
It's all the endings. So you got the months end, the quarter end, and wherever their quarter ends, right?
Exactly, because their quarter is different than our quarters.
It's probably when it's yearly. I'm gonna forget.
All right, so Pulte is offering a limited time special interest rate, 30-year fixed rate at 4.99 on conventional loan only, with a minimum of 20% down on their quick move-in homes when you use their in-house lender. Offer available from now but it has to close by March 31st, which 4.9 is not bad. And that's only on select communities. Now, typically when you buy a Pulte home, especially if you buy a Pulte home in Ascension, you will get 3% off of purchase price or base price towards closing costs.
Yeah.
And Tri-Point Homes usually does that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Richmond American, theirs deal ended, so I'm not going to go over it. Taylor Morrison. They're offering a limited fixed interest rate of 5.49% for a 30-year fixed mortgage rate on their select move-in homes in Las Vegas. You have to enter into a contract from now until February 29th and close by March 29th. Simple.
So you got to hop in.
Yep. And then Toll Brothers is having their national sales event that's extended until the 19th of this month. However, they don't tell you what the event's about.
They just announce it.
They just announce and say we're having an event, but
I did notice that.
But what is the event, Toll Brothers? I think you have to go in each community to find out what each community is offering.
Very likely.
But they are having some event.
They did have some houses that they were showing. Okay, these are the numbers on these.
Right.
But like you said, it's going to be community specific.
Yep. Now, Tri-Point is having 3 different types of savings. It's called Unlock Opportunity Event. So the one is an VA 30-year 2-to-1 buy down with 0 down payment. And for the first year, you get 3.875. The second year, you get 4.875. And year 3 through 30, 5.875. 30-year fixed interest rate, but it's only on select communities, which would be Arrow Peak and Azure Park. Then they have the conventional 30-year 2-to-1 buy down with the different interest rates. So for the first year, it's 3.99, second year, 4.99, and 3 through 30, 5.99, but only in Capri, Highview, and Inspirada. And then the last one is you get a $30,000 in-studio design credit for on their select move-in ready homes at Citrine.
Citrine, yeah. So that sounds like they're looking for maybe.
And it changes every minute. Like one day I'll click and it says these communities, and another day I'll click and they're totally different. So it's ever fleeting and ever changing, right?
Yeah. But this gives you a good idea what you can expect on the front side. And then, depending on what's happening in that community, this is where we sniff it out and we say, okay, you can get a little more room in here. Yeah. Now, some of the stuff we've talked about, there might not be so much room.
Right.
Summerlin.
Well, you got to look
some of the product in Summerlin,
areas that are closing out.
That's
where you can get some deals because they're trying to get rid of the community.
Anything there's an end at.
Yes.
If there's an end, there's probably a deal for you.
Yeah. And lastly is Woodside Homes, and we don't see them too often having specials. They're having Save the Rate event. Now for a limited time, you can receive up to $20,000 to put towards closing costs, a rate buy down, or select options and upgrades that you choose from a new home from their designer curated move-in ready collection.
All right. Well,
and that's it.
But now we got some bets that I might not have done well at.
Let's see if there's any comments. Oh, where did we go? Thanks for the info. Okay, perfect.
You're welcome.
The bets, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. So
medium sales price. I went first and I said it was going to be flat. I said that there was going to be no increase or no decrease. Rob said there was going to be, he played the prices right and said there was going to be $1 decrease. Since there was a decrease, technically Rob won the bet.
Oh, it says Ange won that.
Oh, that's wrong.
All right. Well, hey.
No. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Did you get another one wrong? Or
Hold on. Let me look at this. Yeah.
Because I do recall doing that. Did I dollar increase it? Maybe?
I maybe wrote it. Oh, increase.
Okay.
I wrote that down wrong.
Yeah.
You did increase. All right. Yeah. So that's why I won that one.
Sense.
All right. So then without offers.
It's so close though. We both knew it was going to be like,
there wasn't much. We knew it wasn't going to be much movement.
Yeah.
Without offers, Rob said 3,700. I said 3,701 and it stayed at 3,551.
That goes
so
right into the next one that I
Rob
lost
won.
because, well, I won that one, but I
Yes.
lost the next one because I was going off of the number that I was.
Right. And months
Amen.
of supply, Rob said 2.5. I said 2.4, and it was 2.4. So I hit the nail on the head and won that one.
That's just unreal. I mean, we are so right on these numbers. And,
yeah.
I just think it's crazy that it stayed right at 2.4. I just wouldn't have seen that. Like, that's not.
Well, with considering how many new listings came on the market.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
they all
make
got
sense
gobbled
to me.
up.
But there was only 1,400 in sales and 2,400 new listings.
But they're all going into. You look at what's going into contingency. That's
true.
It's all going.
Okay.
So yep.
All right, time for new bets.
Yeah.
You get to go first this time.
Okay, I go first. Now it's gonna be. We're going for median sales price.
Sales price. Yep, it's at 445 right now.
I have to believe it goes down a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. Ugh, does it though? Yeah. I'll just go 444.
Alrighty. Rob said.
I just think it's there's been some
40,
but just based on the fact that it went down last month, I'm just gonna say it went down a little bit.
Well, I'm actually gonna disagree, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in the opposite direction, and because of how many closings I have and how busy I was in January, based on whatever we lost, we gained automatically, kind of just like with the median price
have seen
for
that trend.
townhomes. I think it's going to go back up to 450.
We have seen that trend. I'm not comfortable with my decision, so I wouldn't be surprised if you're right.
So I'm going to say 450.
So then it's going to be interesting if.
So now that means without offers.
That's you.
Because right now we're currently at 3,500. I have a feeling that we did get more listings, but those listings got gobbled up. So I'm going to say that without offers, 3,400.
All right, that's easy. I'll just say flat.
3,400, and you're going to say flat.
I think it is going to go up. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up.
You think that
fairly
the houses?
significantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like significant to what we've seen. Nothing significant that's like, oh my God, we're seeing a whole bunch of inventory.
So what do you think of months of supply?
Months of supply, I think it goes. I'll go with 2.5 again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down because I've been saying prices go up, number of inventory goes down, so that means the months of supply goes down.
I'm betting heavily on these.
I'm doing
last
2.3.
two that I win these last two. You might win the first one. These last two.
Remember last year this time?
Yeah. I
was strong for like 9 months or so.
This time though, I have the power of looking at the weeklies.
Right.
And this week I have a little intuition on what's happening there. So we'll see.
Wow, 52 minutes. This is like a record.
Yeah, we said it was going to be long.
We went through these things like super fast.
You know, I think people appreciate concise, straightforward information.
Yeah. And plus I called the market update something fun. I changed it to something else besides what that says right there.
Oh.
It was a catchier.
Okay, cool.
So to summarize, we did see a decrease in sales. We saw a decrease in median price. In my opinion, it's not going to reflect how the market is going to turn out for the spring, summer selling season. No. I think that the median price, in my opinion, is going to continue to go up. I still think that we're going to have low inventory, and we're still going to have the demand. I think demand may go up, especially once they start lowering the interest rates. But right now, I don't see prices going down. As I say in every video, I don't see a crash happening. I don't see it happening in 2024, and I don't see it happening next year.
Yep.
What's your prediction?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's going to be we have our usual movement into the springtime,
right?
Which here's the bottom line for me. I'm going to say yes to everything you're saying, but bottom line is people want to be in Vegas. We know you're watching because you're coming to Vegas. We have people that are saying it right on here, multiple people. You're coming to Vegas. There is a demand for people to come to Vegas. There's a lot of reasons for that. And so I'm betting the farm on that.
Well, two is if you want to buy, and I always say it, people get mad at us for trying to push buying, but I would buy now rather than 2 or 3 months from now.
Yeah,
because
we've been saying it up for.
because
We've been very consistent.
it keeps on going up.
Yep. At some point, you just start going, I can't responsibly tell you to wait.
Yes.
I have seen it too often.
Well, prime example in 2020, I had a lot of clients say they were going to wait because at that time, at the end of the 2020, the market was going up and like, oh, prices are going crazy. I'm going to wait. So what happened in 2021, folks?
Yeah.
It went cray cray.
Yeah. Here's and you know how this works for people anyway. You do it when you can do it.
Right.
If this isn't the time, we get it. Okay. Just do it the first chance you have. The universe will always like reward you for doing something that is especially such a big move in your life.
Right.
When you do it the first chance you have, that really makes sense.
Yeah.
So you'll be fine.
But don't wait
right
because you're listening to these doomers saying that the market's crashing and don't buy.
That's keying into something else that doesn't key into where you're talking about, like, I need to be comfortable living here.
Right.
That's what most people are coming here for. Comfort. They're insulated from a lot of things. They get a lot of things out of being in Vegas. Those are all good things to key in on. If you're keying in on a fear factor or like I'm going to get my big deal, those are not the things that actually, I think, rule the roost, if you will.
Right. And as this market has proven, regardless of what's happening with the economy, as I said last time, we had 2 wars last year, right?
Yeah, wild. Yeah.
2 wars. And we had the highest interest rate ever when it reached a little over 8%. But the market didn't crash. What we saw was movement. We did see less in sales, but what happened and what kept the market strong was the lack of inventory and the median price keep on going up.
And so if there is some squeezing on the overall economy, Vegas benefits.
Yeah.
That's really, again, another very huge reason why people are coming here. They're looking for that comfort.
Well, too, and the people that are coming from here are able to work from home, like we saw in 2020 during the COVID timeframe. Mm-hmm. We have all these people still selling their homes in California, making top dollar, paying cash here in Vegas. They don't have to work. Right?
They don't have to work.
They don't have to work. Some of them don't have to work.
Some don't have to work.
Yeah, and some of them are working from home, which is a big trend right now.
I know you've had a lot of the clients that are they're retiring. So yes, they don't have to work.
Yeah, I get a lot of retirees. I work with the boomers.
Me too.
And I'm happy for it. I love the boomers. And we're Gen X.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll be
boomers
soon.
We're
right behind you.
Yeah, because Gen X ends at 1965 to 1979, I think.
Okay.
So we'll be
we just cleared the bar.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for watching. We really, 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 really appreciate the comments.
Yeah.
We love it when you guys comment. And let us know in the comments after this, if you've watched it not live, what you think of our predictions, what you feel that what's going on with the market. And if you ever want to reach Rob, his information is down in the description below. His YouTube channel is
Rob Howell, Rockstar Realtor.
Yep. And
Thanks,
he's the rock star and I'm the realtor. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one. And